Entrepreneur life requires risk, persistence, and a slightly unreasonable belief that this thing you're building is going to work.
And let's not forget copious amounts of caffeine.
Yes, that too.
Hey guys, I'm Allison, the Caffeinated Entrepreneur, an AI-powered business strategist and systems builder with an energy level that should probably come with a warning label.
And I'm Bernie, the man behind the mustache. I'm a virtual events producer who makes sure the tech works, the delivery is clean, and nobody panics, including Allison.
Each week, we are picking up the conversation where my weekly newsletter leaves off. No teaching, no pretending we have it all figured out.
Just two entrepreneurs talking honestly about the highs and lows of growing our own businesses.
And why some ideas are worth sipping on a little bit longer. Welcome to the Caffeinated Entrepreneur. Let's go behind the brew. Hey guys, grab your favorite caffeinated beverage and join us as we go behind the brew of issue number 56. Your stress doesn't care about your deadline. Bernie, I feel like today is going to be all about you, my friend.
Man.
What do you think?
Yeah, I know. As we were talking about the show, that's exactly how I felt. I was like, this is so real and relevant for right now for me.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I just feel like, and I've been there, right? I've been in the parenting the littles stage and the baby stage and the lack of sleep stage. And so I totally feel you. So yeah, I think that this is one of those moments, and for listeners, what we're getting into today is just literally that idea that when your life stresses you out and your business is under a lot of pressure and those two worlds collide, your brain is like, white flag, I just can't right now. And I don't know if people have hit it to quite the extent that I have or that you have in this moment, but I think at some point, everybody can relate to this.
I mean, I think obviously if you have a child and you have a business, you definitely experience this, or I mean, even a job. I think the folks who probably don't as much are the ones who don't have kids. The ones that, as I used to be, a cool uncle. Just hand them back, which was always good. But yeah, as a parent, like you've got to manage it all. You've got to handle your business, your work life, whatever it might be. Plus, make sure that you're present and available for your kids and your family.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, and I would even say that people also transition. They're not raising little kids anymore, but now they're taking care of parents.
That is
right. And
yeah.
so it's like it's the taking care of someone else, that whoever that is in your life. But I think that you lose.
Yeah.
And I don't know if this has actually been proven, but there is the argument, they call it the mom brain. They say that every single time you have a child, you actually lose a certain percentage of brain cells. Like the functionality of your brain literally actually shuts down. Now, I'm sure with AI, I could ask that question and find out if it's true or not. But, it was one of those things that helped me feel better when I was like pregnant and having newborn kids. And I was like, oh, mom brain, you have to let that go, mom brain. But okay, tell me, has there been any maybe recent moments where you're like, dude, my brain has left the building. Like I cannot function. I have got to stop.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, once a day right now, it's ridiculous. We had one very recently, right? We closed out one of the recent podcast episodes, and I totally trailed off. I had no idea what I was saying anymore. Didn't know where I started.
It wasn't even like your brain gave up mid-sentence. It was like loading.
We're done. It happens often, unfortunately. I mean, and there is most definitely a reason for sleep deprivation to be a torture methodology, because it is hard to remain strong in your cognitive function, to stay logical, to not get super emotional and make poor decisions. My mustache moment actually recently, yesterday, by the time this actually gets published, it'll be a few weeks back, but was on being tired and making decisions while you're tired, and how things look and how you perceive things, right? Tired is a liar. It can add a different shade to your perspective that maybe isn't true.
Yeah. And depending on just how tired you are and then how skewed that perspective gets, it can be super detrimental.
That's right.
I have a slightly funny my brain left the building moment, and I alluded to it in the newsletter that went out a couple months ago. But I was in a doctor's office recently, so I had a rather important procedure done for a woman at my age 4 years ago before we went into RV full time lifestyle, and then RV full time life happened for several years, and then we moved to Texas, and I just got around being like, yeah, I should probably go back to the doctor. It's probably a good thing if I have that looked at again. And I'm sitting in the office, and they're having me fill out paperwork, and they're like, "And where did you have that procedure done?" And I was like, I don't know." They were like, "Okay. Well, what was your doctor's name?" And I was like, "Oh, I don't know." They were like, "Well, what was the name of the hospital you went to?" And I was like, "Couldn't tell you. I don't even know what city it was in," because there were several options. They looked at me like I was crazy, like I was an idiot. And I thought to myself, retrospectively, that was happening, and I've shared this on the podcast before, was under massive stress in my business. All things were not working out. Finances were really hard. And I was massively stressed. Well, it just so happens that original procedure 4 years ago also was an incredibly stressful time in my life for obvious reasons. I was having a medical procedure done, and I had just started a job with a horrific boss that made me cry on the daily. And Joel and I were preparing to sell our home and everything else that we owned to go into an RV, stress upon stress upon stress. And so I'm my brain shut down back then, and my brain shut down in March. And it was not just me being forgetful. The brain literally was not firing on any cylinders at all. And I felt like a moron, and I can laugh now, but at the time it was very embarrassing.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, for sure. I mean, when you go through traumatic experiences, when you're going through a lot of stuff and it just kind of stacks, you lose some of that cognitive ability.
Yeah. So why don't we give ourselves grace? As entrepreneurs, why are we quick to assume that there is something wrong with our strategy or our marketing or our client delivery, rather than just being I think that the problem is actually that I'm not functioning at full capacity?
I think we all want to believe that we make good choices for ourselves, even if we don't make good choices for ourselves. Sometimes we will convince ourselves that, it is a good choice, or it's okay to make that bad choice. But I just did it again.
And case in
Case
point.
and point. Bring it back. Ask the question again.
So you're talking about making good decisions and how we all want to make good decisions, and we all think we're making good decisions. And yet we just have to sometimes acknowledge, this is where I think you were going with that, is that number one, you can't always make good decisions. It's
We don't.
all relative,
Right.
right? But the fact of the matter is, because our brain isn't functioning, we can't recognize that we're not making good decisions. That frontal lobe, or whatever that part of our brain is, isn't working. So we can't even diagnose our own problem because we don't have the reasoning skills we need to diagnose the fact that we can't reason properly.
Yes.
So one of the things that we are talking about right now, there's this whole work-life balance, which I think we all agree does not exist. Work-life balance is not real, right? You're either working a lot and lifing little, or you're lifing a lot and you're working little. This is the reality. That is, quote unquote, the balance, right? The scales just keep going.
But yeah, pendulum.
However, stress does not respect the same boundaries as our calendar, right? So when life is stressing us out because we're not sleeping, because we're raising little ones, or we're having medical procedures done, or we're moving, or whatever, that will bleed to our ability to work well and to run our businesses well and to show up for our clients well. And I know I'm guilty of this one, when work is stressing us out and we're, having trouble closing clients, or we're having trouble with clients. We have a really bad client, right? And we're super stressed out about deadlines. We will take it out on our life, quote unquote, our family, our loved ones, and they will get the brunt end of the deal. So either life stress causes bad decisions at work, or work stress causes bad decisions in life.
Yeah. Yeah. And
Yeah.
so I was able to circle back again, and here we go. So because we think we make good choices, it can't be that we have made a bad choice. And so we have to look at our strategy within the business, or something outside of what's happening to us, to say that that is the problem, instead of, I just need to get a night's rest, or I just need
Mhm.
to go and get a massage because that's going to calm me. I need to go and take a walk. I need to hang
Mhm.
out with the family, right? And enjoy a movie night or something like that. More often than
Mhm.
not, I think that we want to find the bigger problem when it's usually simpler than that.
Right. When we're the
Yeah.
problem, it's really what it is. We want to seek outside of ourselves.
Yeah.
So, has there been a moment that you can think of, whether it's been recently or in the past? I mean, this is not your first child that you're having, where the life pressure has bled into a business decision and you were like, oh, nope, that wasn't a
Hmm.
good idea.
Hmm. Yeah, I think that there were definitely some collaborations that in hindsight were more desperation driven, right? Hoping to get access to someone else's audience. And so
Mm.
then taking on more of the work than probably I should have if it was a true collaboration, right? And I think the opposite is probably more so true, like the stresses of the business impacting the family, right? Not
Yeah.
having enough time because I'm instead of doing a 40-hour week, you're doing 60 or 80 hours. Or in my case, I was out driving Uber right on the side. So
Right.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I can definitely say, and I try so hard to be careful that I don't let this happen. Though I'm sure my kids are listening from the other room, and they will come running in to be like, "No, mom, you still do it." But there was a time where I absolutely allowed business pressure. Like if I got a nasty email from a client who was unhappy, or even if it wasn't nasty, they just threw another log on the fire that was already burning really, really fast. And I was like, I can't even. And then my gut reaction was to snap at my children for distracting me or for needing my attention. Like, so perfect example, when we were in the RV, the kids would come home from school. I'd have to stop my work day because they got out so freaking early in California. I had to stop my work day, go pick them up, come home, and then I'm getting back on calls. I'm still working. Well, you're at an RV table. It's like 2 feet by 2 feet, and they're trying to do homework on the other side of my screen. So I'm on one side, there's giant screen between me and them. They're on the other side eating snack and doing homework and, whispering to each other. And God forbid they needed help on a math problem while I'm trying to write copy for somebody's marketing campaign. And I would snap. And I didn't think about how the pressure of the business in that moment was bleeding into my life, because I wasn't translating that as pressure or as stress or as exhaustion from business. But again, retrospectively, it is. And even now, the kids are on summer break, and I'm like, I love you. Get out of the office. I'm in the middle of something. We'll talk when we're done,
I want to hear everything
Um,
you have to say, but please just shut up right now.
I care so much, but not right now. No, but it is, and it's like I'm still working on that. Even if I'm not consciously feeling pressured by my business, I take business pressures out on my family because it just it's the natural thing to do. And just yesterday I had a personal thing happen. I got an email literally in between calls, and I was bawling, and I'm literally like, pull yourself together, pull yourself together, don't have a meltdown, pull yourself together. And then I took that emotional upsetness and immediately reacted to an email I got from somebody else and was super angry with that person who really didn't probably deserve that much of an aggressive reaction from me. And I was like, don't respond right now.
Yeah,
Breathe through
right.
it. Be professional.
But it's so hard not to just react, especially if it is all stacked up, right? Like in my
Yeah.
case, yeah, I have a little bit of stress in the business. I would say that that's lesser so the problem than the tired piece for me.
Right now.
Right now, right. But so I guess let me ask you this question, since you're on the opposite end of the child situation right now, or at least they're taking care of themselves a little bit better.
They're
Um,
doing chores right
right,
now.
yeah,
It's
they're doing chores
great.
right now. They're washing dishes, cleaning
Great.
the floors, washing the windows. So when you were in survival mode, and even now, right? Like what
Yeah.
was the support? What were the things that you needed? What helped to, I guess, make you more conscious and not blow up, on the kids or
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, little things like physical boundaries. So for a long time, my laptop would follow me around the house. So I'd work from the couch or from the kitchen table or from my bed or whatever. And one of the things that Joel and I did was we designated an office for me, and my computer was plugged in, and it stayed on that desk in that room. And so that at the quote unquote end of my day or at lunchtime, I closed that door and walked away. And it helped me mentally separate work time from family time, which helped me then not take the stress with me. I mean, I still did kind of. I can also tell you that was like when I was doing the stuff, in the last few years. But back when my kids were little and I was doing my direct sales business, people would Facebook message me, and I would constantly be on Facebook Messenger responding to them. And I was working with a counselor at the time, marriage counseling, and she's like, I want you to delete Facebook Messenger from your phone. Get it off your phone. You're only allowed to respond to people when you are on your computer. But it was like, she made me take that off my phone to create a boundary. So I would say for me, one thing that I did was try to create a very physical boundary between me and work to help me mentally separate stress levels. I don't know if you can do that.
Yeah, I mean, to a degree, right? Like my office here at home is in the basement, right? I got my studio down here. I have to walk up physically up the stairs and through a door to to go upstairs and hang out with the family. So I do have some separation.
Yeah.
What I kind of miss, and I don't miss much about being in the rat race of corporate America, but I actually do kind of miss having a little bit of a commute to reset
Mm-hmm.
myself before I would re-engage
Yeah.
with things.
Decompression
Yeah.
time.
Like that I would say is one piece that is missing. I love that Ty can come downstairs and we can have a conversation. I love that the kids can come and do the things, right? But also I don't have any separation from that, right?
Yeah.
It's always there. So that is challenging.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is. Well, it's funny you should say that because I think that was one of the things that Joel always said about his business when he would come home. He had like a 45-minute drive
Hmm.
and he needed it. He had a hard day. He needed the 45 minutes to like just work through it, listen to some music, not talk to anybody, and that's a good point. I hadn't thought about the commute thing because I haven't had it in like almost 2 decades. So oh my gosh. I will say though, for me, it was like exercising at the end of the day
Yeah.
because it's like, well, that 30 minutes becomes like just
Yeah.
whatever, get in the zone, exercise
Yeah.
for
Let
30
it let
minutes.
all
And
let
then
all that energy out, whatever you
yeah,
have brewing.
yeah.
Yeah.
So, okay, let's put the shoe on the other foot. Has there ever been a time when you saw somebody else making a bad decision or letting stress from their personal life take over a business decision or vice versa, letting stress from a business affect their personal life? And you're just like, let me help you, but they just could not hear you through the clanging.
Yeah, I not recently, to be honest, not in business as an owner myself, in any of my relationships in this decade, but in corporate America, I saw a lot of that, right? Running teams, call center work is an interesting line of work, interesting population of people, and there are a lot of stressful situations, single parent homes and things like that, and
Yeah.
people have to come into work and still figure out how to do the thing, even though 2, 3 kids are at home off school that day. So, yeah, you would see people make less than desirable choices on how they were approaching their day, right? They would fake phone
Mhm.
calls, or they would have to take extra breaks, and it's yeah, it's hard to have to point those things out because you get why they're doing it, uh,
Right.
right? But helping them to see that it's not the way, or that that they need to have a different perspective on it. It's like, yeah, have the different perspective, but this is the reality.
Yeah. So, in a very different way, again, right? Same brew, different cup. So, I'm in a rather large women's networking group. But one of the things that I love that we do is we do breakout rooms, and you kind of just rotate who you end up with. And I was in a breakout room a while back with a woman who I would consider not just my peer, but like more advanced than me in her business, right? And she's been doing it longer. She, has bigger clients, makes more revenue. So I see her as like several steps ahead of me. And she just broke down in the breakout room with me and another woman that we've known each other for a while. And she was like, I hate that I can't say no to an opportunity when my family needs me. Like, she was so addicted to the opportunities in front of her that, and I think I might have mentioned this on a previous episode, where she actually, it was her kids were on spring break and they were teenagers. And one of them made the comment about wanting to spend intentional time with her. And she knew that. And then an opportunity to do an event where she had to travel came up, and she took it. Like, and she felt so guilty, but at the same time, she didn't change the decision. And I'm sitting here thinking, oh my gosh, like, you're literally saying it out loud. You are saying, you made the wrong decision. You're crying about it. And yet you're not changing your mind. Like, you can cancel. You just did it. It's been 48 hours. And it was like, how do I, as somebody who's like not as far along in the business as she is, right? I'm not as successful as she is, but I could see it. And as we know, we tried to comfort her, but at the same time, all I could do was mentally think, oh my gosh, Allison, don't be that person. Like, I love her, and I don't mean to disrespect her in any way, shape, or form. But when I saw what she was going through, and yet she refused to make a better decision, and she wouldn't hear us as we encouraged her to, like, you can still cancel. It's okay. Like, you'll be all right. You can, and she wouldn't do it. And I was like, I don't want to be that person.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, unfortunately, can't save some people from themselves.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I think what's interesting though is if you ask her again, I don't know if you stay close with her, but ask her again in 6 months, if she's making any changes, hopefully
Yeah.
it's significant enough emotional event that she makes different choices going forward.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and I sometimes think if we just look back and say, was that worth it?
Right.
Like, was it worth it? Was the emotional stress that I was in, was the disappointment for my family enough? Was, right? Like, because we've mentioned this before, like that question. Well, when you're 80, what's going to matter more, the money that you made or the relationships that you had? And you said it. Well, of course, at 80, we're all going to say the relationships. But in the day when people need food on the table and clothes on their backs, we're going to, like, the money is the reality.
Yep.
I don't think that was it for her. I think in that moment, she just loves what she does and she's good at it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But I think for me, looking back and being like, was that worth it? And then how do I use that going forward to make different decisions going forward? And this is the other thing too. And I don't know that everybody has a marriage where that it would work for them. But I personally, put Joel in charge of my yes and no filter. Like, if I want to do something and I run it by him and he's like, nope, I don't think that's a good idea. I don't think you should do it. And we actually talked about this on the podcast not too long ago. I was part of a council, if you will. And after several calls, I was expressing to him how much work I felt like I was taking on. And he's like, nope, you don't need to be doing this. And I was already feeling that, but it was almost as if he gave me permission because he's my husband and he loves me more than anybody else. And when he says, no, I don't think this is good for you, it's like, okay, release it, let it go. Don't do it.
I think everybody needs to have that, I'll say trusted advisor, whoever that is for a person, right? Somebody that's got your best interests in mind. You can bounce your ideas off of, your frustrations. Because again, the stress, the tired, the whatever, like you can't always see the label from the inside the jar.
Yeah. To call back from our last episode 2 episodes ago. That, well done. For someone who's sleep deprived, you did that one.
I mean,
really
it took
well.
me a few minutes but I knew I wanted to say it. So
to bring it back. All right. So, okay. We're talking about kind of setting boundaries. We were touching on it. So how do we determine the difference between something that just needs better boundaries? Like, I can do an event or I can take on a client provided they fit within this time structure versus I need to cut that out from my world completely because it's not good for the bigger picture, even if it's good in the moment? Like, what are some ways, I don't know, that you think that are, I don't know, filters maybe that we
Yeah.
look for? Like, how do we filter through it?
Yeah. I mean, I hate to say you have to do like a cost risk analysis of everything that you come across, but like you
Yeah.
almost do have to take that mental inventory, right? Because every opportunity does have a cost. Going back to that previous
Mhm.
example, right? The lady loves to speak on stage, is what she does, and all of the things, but the cost of that was that she disappointed her daughter, didn't get to be able to hang out with her and do those things. So I think
Yeah.
that you have to look at that and determine what your threshold is, because sometimes the loss or gain of money is not the only measure, right? It's
Yeah.
the family, it's your own personal sanity. Like you have to run through those filters, like you said, those. Of
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and this will not be a surprise to you, but of course, I have an AI filter.
course you do.
so so of course, right, for my business inside of my CEO dashboard, I have my 90-day plan. And though it doesn't have personal stuff in there, like we're gonna focus this on making a business decision only. You're in a lot of stress and for your business, let's say. I have my 90-day plan, and what I at the time of creating my 90-day plan, when I'm in that, like, oh, this is so great, I'm so excited, I also then create a strategic filter that I have to run big decisions through to see if it matches my 90-day plan or furthers my goals,
Mhm.
right? And so it's literally like I have a big decision, a big opportunity. I call in my 90-day plan and my strategic filter. And then Albert, my little, AI agent, I say, Albert, I need you to run this decision through my strategic filter. Ask me questions and then apply my filter to this conversation and help me make this decision. And I have found for business, not personal, but for business, it's been a really great way to kind of weed out some of those things that I've been on the fence about. And quite frankly, I'm just too freaking tired to put a lot of effort into. And I have to get back to somebody. Like, I don't have the time to mull it over. I don't have the time to go talk to my coach about it. But it's like, nope, let's just pull this up and get it done. So I know that, I'm not saying AI should be anybody's counselor, but I am saying that it is super helpful when you're just like, how does this fit into my world right now?
Absolutely. Well, I mean, it's instant perspective, right? Being
Yeah.
able to set the filters and say, this is what I'm dealing with. This is the context. Run it through. Give me some perspective. There is a lot of value in that. From the business perspective, obviously, but I think from the personal perspective as well. Like, here in my house, we are dealing again with a toddler who does not sleep well. She has night terrors, all of the things. I
Mhm.
can tell you, we've been talking to AI a little bit. We're like, okay, so like, what's worked for it?
Yeah.
What's this? What's that? How do we try? And we're
Yeah.
trying
Yeah.
all sorts of stuff that we probably wouldn't have found on our own necessarily, right? So,
Yeah. Yeah.
um, can you base all of your decisions just on what AI is spitting out? No, absolutely not. You should not. But
Right.
it does give you the perspective that you may not have had otherwise.
Yeah. Yeah. Heck yeah. Heck yeah. So, all right, as we're kind of coming to an end here of this episode, what is something that you're doing or you want to start doing to help you kind of not hit the wall? Like, what can you be doing to put in place so that you're like, I'm going to be more careful so that I don't physically you're going to hit a wall. You're sleep deprived right now, my friend. I get that. Other than the sleep
Yeah,
deprivation,
yeah.
what are some things that in general business owners can be doing to prevent them from hitting that stress wall that just makes their decision making abilities fall apart?
Yeah, I mean, I think some of the very basic stuff, and you'll agree with me because I think that you are a proponent of this as well, is basic calendar blocking. Like, make sure that you are
Yep.
paying attention to how much time you're spending on certain things, right? Like, even the act of networking, which I love to do, you love to do, but if all of a sudden you have 20 networking meetings on your calendar and all the other stuff you got, like, it will stress you out, right? So you
Yeah.
have to be able to balance your workload as well as possible, right? And I think that is one of the big keys for managing stress and your overall workload. And I also think, to your point earlier, it's just setting the boundaries for
Mhm.
yourself, because if you don't, nobody will.
Yeah. Yeah. I love it. And I'm going to go practical, like practical, tactical, because I've literally done this with 3 clients in the last week and a half.
What?
Your
Very recent.
to-do list, your to-do list is an action item list, not an idea dumping ground. So look at your to-do list, and if it's not something that you're going to physically take action on in the next 14 days, you move it to an ideas list. And then you're always welcome to go back to that ideas list whenever you want and pull things to your action item list. But all three people that I've done with, like within 24 or 48 hours, I've been like, how are you feeling today? They're like, oh my gosh, I'm so much less stressed. And I'm like, I know, because you have 3 things on your to-do list for today, not 30. Like, and now the to-do list is something that you're motivated to take action on, right? And because your brain's not deciding
Like this
which of these
huge,
30 things I have to
daunting
do.
task. Yeah.
Yeah, like for me, I hate lots of choices. I hate, like, oh my gosh, 3 is my max. And so that's my whole encouragement for people, is like, just be practical and tactical. Limit the number of choices you have to make so that you don't end up with decision fatigue. So,
Good advice.
yeah.
I like that.
Oh, all right. So let's go ahead and land this plane. Do you want to take it, Bernie? You want to give it a go?
I don't.
All right. I got you then. I got you. Because I think that you would agree that so much of what we do as entrepreneurs asks us to be steady while life is doing the absolute opposite thing in the background, or vice versa, be steady in life when our business is just rocking the boat. And I want us to remember that stress, whether in life or business, it does not mean that we are weak, friends, okay? It just means that all of us will eventually get to a point where our capacity is officially maxed out, and all the things on our plate, it does eventually catch up with you. And so the real work is that we just have to notice when our brain is waving the white flag, have support, have margin, and because I'm the systems girl, it always helps to have a system like time blocking on your calendar underneath, in those moments when things feel like they're absolutely spiraling out of control. So the most strategic thing would often be, don't just push through it, right? Be honest about when you need support, when you need space, and what you need to do to help yourself make better decisions. So anything you want to add, Bernie?
Make good choices, y'all.
Make good choices. I love it. So guys, thanks for listening. Remember, keep showing up, keep taking the next step, because the caffeine is strong.
And so are you.